Hey guys, welcome back. This will be part 2 of our conversation. Last week, or in the part 1, we had a discussion around menses and how do we go about the conversation. Then endometriosis has come up as one of the causes of a lot of pain, which in the medical profession is called dysmenorrhea. Right, Doc?
Yes.
Dysmenorrhea.
Yes.
So it is what we'll talk about today. We still have Dr. Mutindi. Thank you, Doc, for being here again. So tell us, endometriosis. I know there's a lot of, now it has, the conversation has, picked up, which is a good thing for us, right? The other day, we saw Jambi going through the whole, and I felt like we were all invested in her journey and her recovery journey and to surgery and just what level of pain that she was going through. So if you don't mind, just tell us about endometriosis a bit, and then we pick up from there. Perhaps you can even tell us from your experience what thoughts come to mind. At what do we come late for care, or what do you think?
You're right. Majority of course do come late for care, because the norm is you're told from school or from other people. Here's the thing about women is almost everything we go through, it is vumilia, be strong about
Jikaze.
it. Jikaze. So even you're having period pains, having periods is a normal thing. So if you're having pain, what are you whining about?
Yes.
That has to change. And as you're right, the discussion about endometriosis is changing.
Yes.
There are conversations right now about endometriosis because people have not really fully understood it. And thank God right now, when we go for conferences and go for clinical meetings, it's right now being discussed a lot. And
so what is it?
So endometriosis is whereby you have the lining of the uterus, the cells of the lining of the uterus called the endometrium, finding their way into other parts of the body. Okay, so they can be on the ovaries, on the tubes, and the cause is not really known. So it's ectopic endometrial tissue. It can be in the intestines, on the ovaries.
Then when it goes there, it behaves.
It plants itself there and behaves like the endometrium,
Yes.
and responds to the menstrual cycle as well, because endometrial tissue. Yes.
And then behaves like for Jambi, it was in her lungs and the bleeding, and it was
that
horrible.
Yes, and that is, I think Jambi is the only person I know where endometrial tissue has been found in the lung. It is extremely rare, but it does cause,
The pain is ridiculous.
Pain is ridiculous.
So
yeah.
at what point then do we decide, okay, I need to go for care? And when you go for care, so if it is endometriosis, what treatment options are available?
Yeah.
Does it mean that now you're stuck with this pain for the rest of your life? What options do we have?
So endometriosis one is, of course, the common symptom they'll tell you is dysmenorrhea.
Yes.
And I'll ask a patient, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain? She actually rolls her eyes and tells me, like 15, doc. But it varies with the amount of ectopic tissue you have. Others, it is, you're doing a laparoscopy and then you're like, oh, she has endometriosis, but she's asymptomatic, to compare to those who have very extreme symptoms. So one is making a diagnosis. So the gold standard for diagnosis of endometriosis, unfortunately, is laparoscopy. There is no other way of making a diagnosis. The other times we make is a diagnosis of assumption if we're not able to do laparoscopy. So a patient tells you, I have very painful periods and they are debilitating, I can't work, I'm vomiting, diarrhea. If you have endometriosis in your rectum, then you may even have diarrhea. Others, it is, of course, coupled with all psychological disorders as well. They may get mood swings, they get into depression. Imagine having to tell your boss every month that I need 2 days off. I think that would take a psychological toll on you. So the gold standard, unfortunately, is laparoscopy. So majority we actually find who are asymptomatic, we find during laparoscopy, you're doing another procedure and you're like, wait, she has endometrial tissue, which is great. You don't need to do anything about them. Then there are those who do have lesions that may require some resection and sort of a debulking procedure. But one thing they need to know is there's no guarantee removing those lesions is a cure. Others, you'll find an endometrioma, whereby now is endometrial tissue that will form a type of a cyst on the ovary. Those ones are removed.
Okay.
Those ones are removed, but you have to make sure that you do not destroy ovarian tissue, especially if they don't have children. All right. Then when it comes to treatment can either be, majority we either put them on hormonal treatment. Those who we say it's an assumption, and they say, doc, I don't do laparoscopy. If you think it's endometriosis, you just give me drugs for endometriosis. Because if it's a 16, 15-year-old girl, she's in school, the parents are thinking, wait, you want to do surgery too? And endometriosis is not the surgery we consider surgery, because you're not opening up the patient, but still the parents make the choice for this person. Sometimes they'll tell you, let her be 18, then she makes the decision herself instead of us making it for her. After all, it's not really a life-threatening condition, unlike Jambi, who has it in the lungs. Okay, so treatment, we can put them on hormonal to control the symptoms, and most of them, if you put them on pills, majority will tell you, thank you.
The pain is manageable.
Is manageable. The pain is manageable, because you're now sort of tweaking the menstrual cycle. Others, we put them on like even progesterone only. Other cases, we have to put them on drugs like GnR, what you call GnRH analogs. These are drugs that will sort of block the HPO axis. So the axis, the system, can I say the system that controls your menstrual cycle, we kind of like want to put it in a stop and put you in temporary menopause. Worst case scenario, I think the one I was sharing with earlier with a friend of mine who decided, let me just remove my ovaries, because the menstrual cycle, of course, controlled by the ovaries. So if I remove them, he's totally Mesha Kabisa. But then again, also there's the
desired fertility.
But she was done having her children. And then also, remember, menopause comes with symptoms. And all that. So, and then surgery would be if there are large lesions that can be resected. Some will tell you they've gotten relief. I know a lady who is part of the Endo Sisters, she's had 6 surgeries, which I felt was very unfair, because our teachers in school told us, once you make the diagnosis, resect what you can, remove what you can. Don't go back in there looking for those lesions. They'll always come back. Don't do anything. Just put on treatment. You saw them, remove what you could, but don't go back again
to try and
you're actually going to cause more harm than good.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you for allowing us to have you and have this conversation.
Thank you, Dr.
Please
Nyachira.
always come back when the conversation changes or the topic changes, because I guess we're also trying to debulk a lot of the information and ensure that the correct information is available to everyone. So thank you guys for being here today and listening to our discussion. We had Dr. Mutindi Kakuti. She's a gynecologist that I really respect, and I'm so glad that she's able to explain in detail a lot of these things. Whatever other discussions that you'd like us to have with her, please let me know. We can always transport her to my home and she's always open to that. Please remember to subscribe. See you next week.